was late afternoon when the heavy wooden doors of the Rusted Crown Saloon slammed open with a bang that silenced laughter, pool balls, and jukebox music all at once. A little girl, no more than 9 years old, stumbled inside, barefoot, her face streaked with dirt and tears. Her small chest heaved as she screamed, "My stepfather is selling me!" The room froze. Dozens of tattooed men with leather jackets and rough hands turned toward her, beer mugs halfway to their lips. "Please help me," she cried, her voice breaking. "He's selling me to a man for $5,000. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of standing up for the helpless, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Loom. Your support helps spread stories that prove goodness still exists in unexpected places." Clark, the chapter president, moved faster than anyone had seen him move in years. The man was built like a wall, grizzled beard streaked with silver, eyes hard from decades of bad roads and worse memories. But when he knelt beside the little girl, his voice softened. "Who's selling you, sweetheart?" he asked gently. "My stepfather," she sobbed. "He took money already. The man's coming tonight to take me." The words hit the bikers like a punch. Before Clark could ask more, they heard the screech of tires outside and the slam of car doors. Two men walked in. One was red-faced and nervous, clutching rope and duct tape. The other was older, in a tailored suit that didn't belong in a place like this. The red-faced one, the stepfather, shouted, "There you are, you little brat!" His eyes flicked around and froze when he saw 40 bikers rising slowly from their seats, their faces unreadable. "That's my kid," he said quickly. "She's sick in the head, makes up stories." The little girl, Sophie, buried her face in Clark's vest, sobbing harder. "He already took the money," she cried. "He sold me." The older man in the suit cleared his throat and said, "This is a family matter, gentlemen." Tank, the club's enforcer, stood up so slowly it made the air itself heavy. "Family," he said, voice deep as thunder, "doesn't sell family." The stepfather stammered, "You don't understand. She's going to a better home, like adoption." Razor, the biker closest to the door, pointed at the rope and duct tape the suited man still held. "Adoption, huh?" he said quietly. That's when both men realized they'd walked into the wrong place, at the wrong time. "We're leaving?" the stepfather tried, reaching for Sophie's arm. Clark's hand shot out, closing around his wrist like a vice. "No, you're not," he said. The man sneered. "I'll call the cops." Clark smiled coldly. "Please do. Explain to them why you're selling a 9-year-old. And then, Sophie whispered something that made every heart in that bar turn to stone. "He sold my sister Amy last year," she said softly. "He told me she went to live with Grandma, but Grandma's been dead for 2 years." The silence that followed was deafening. Then, in a blur, the older man tried to run for the door. He made it 2 steps before 3 bikers tackled him to the floor. "Check his phone," Snake, the tech guy of the crew, ordered. Within minutes, his face turned pale. "You don't want to see this," he muttered, holding up the screen. Photos, names, prices, dozens of children. Even these hardened men, used to violence, to darkness, went quiet. Clark's voice broke the stillness. "You're done," he told them both. The stepfather, desperate, pulled out a gun. "You don't know who you're messing with," he shouted. The room erupted in laughter. 40 bikers laughing at one trembling man with a pistol. "Neither do you," Clark said. Within minutes, police sirens wailed in the distance. But before the officers even arrived, Clark knelt beside Sophie again. "Where's your real family, sweetheart?" he asked softly. "My mom's dead," she whispered. "My real dad died in Afghanistan when I was 3. My mom's parents live in Florida, but Roy, that's my stepdad, said they didn't want me." Clark's jaw tightened. "He lied," he said. "We're going to find them." When Detective Sarah Morrison arrived, she took one look at the evidence and called for federal backup. "Human trafficking," she announced grimly. The suited man, Richard Blackwood, an investment banker, smirked as they cuffed him. "You idiots have no idea who I am," he hissed. "I'll be out in an hour." And he was right. 3 hours later, Richard walked out of jail, free on bail, his smirk back in place. But waiting for him outside were 200 bikers, not just from Clark's club, but from every chapter in the region. They didn't touch him, didn't have to. Wherever Richard went, they followed. His office, his gym, his country club. Within days, his boss knew, his clients knew, his wife knew. His reputation rotted faster than he could run. He lost his job, his house, his family, everything. The bikers made sure the world knew what he'd done. Meanwhile, Snake had been working non-stop, tracing Richard's files and digital trails. What he found broke every heart in that clubhouse. A cabin in the mountains, property owned by one of Richard's shell companies. Clark gathered 40 riders and rode into the dark, headlights piercing the mist. What they found there would haunt them forever. 4 girls locked in a basement. One of them, Amy, Sophie's sister. She was alive, weak, terrified, but alive. The bikers carried her out like she was made of glass. Richard was rearrested the next morning. This time, there was no bail. Roy, Sophie's stepfather, wasn't so lucky either. He posted bail and tried to run. Took the insurance money he'd stolen from Sophie's dead mother and drove off, thinking he could disappear. But 10 miles out of town, his car stalled. Maybe sugar in the gas tank, maybe bad luck. Either way, he found himself surrounded by the rumble of motorcycles. They circled him slowly, like wolves with patience. Roy called 911, screaming that he was being harassed. The dispatcher said every unit was busy. For 3 hours, he sat trapped in his car, surrounded by bikers holding signs. Amy's picture, Sophie's smile, their mother's grave. When a tow truck finally came, the driver saw the bikers and turned right back around. Roy ran. The bikers followed, not fast, just steady, their engines growling like judgment. He ran into a diner, begging for help. People looked at him, saw the bikers outside and said, "You need to leave." He ran to a church. The priest told him, "Even God won't protect child sellers." He tried the hospital. They threw him out. The bus station claimed every seat was full. For 2 days, he couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't hide from the sound of those motorcycles. Everywhere he went, people whispered his name, the man who sold his stepdaughter. Finally, Roy broke. He walked into the police station, shaking, crying, confessing to everything. His wife's murder, selling Amy, trying to sell Sophie. He begged to be locked away, to be protected from the bikers who had never even laid a hand on him. But they didn't need to. Roy got 40 years with no parole. Richard Blackwood got life without parole. And within a week in prison, Richard was begging for solitary confinement because word had spread. Even there, justice has a way of finding you. Sophie and Amy were reunited in Florida with their grandparents, who had spent their savings trying to find the girls they thought were dead. Clark and his crew started a fund with the Rusted Crown Saloon's profits, all for the girls' education. The Hells Angels bought the house next door to the grandparents and turned it into a clubhouse. The safest kids in America now played in a yard guarded by 40 leather-clad angels who'd once been strangers. The legend of that night spread across states. And soon, a quiet message rippled through the underground. Don't touch children near the Rusted Crown. Don't even think about it. Because 40 bikers once became an army for one little girl, and they'll do it again, every single time. If the story touched your heart, if you still believe there are protectors out there, ordinary people who choose courage and compassion, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Loom. Your support helps us keep telling stories that remind the world what humanity can be when it chooses kindness over cruelty. Before you go, drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. We'd love to appreciate every one of you who stands for kindness and justice. Because sometimes, the roughest hands hold the gentlest hearts. And sometimes, angels ride motorcycles.